Hey guys, Cold.brew here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, this one will be a guide for ACHAK The Wendarin. He is one of the brand new epics that come into the game with the Christmas event and fusion. He's not part of the fusion epics, but he is part of the Christmas champions that were introduced in addition to other champions within the game. So it's a demon spawn, so we also have the faction wars today, so we can try him. We don't have any gear on yet because we're doing this in this video. So let's go over the skills first, and then we'll go back to the gearing. Of course, Masteries is just a very basic Masteries for a debuffer, so War Master, and then we went straight for Sniper and Master Hexer. I'm gonna explain why in a bit. So the skills, guys: attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of decreasing the duration of one random buff if the target is under an HP burn debuff. This is okay. This is okay. I don't see much use for this in most of the dungeons, except for faction wars where there's a ton of buffs all the time in there. Also has a 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15% if they are under a freeze debuff. So yeah, that's cool, but you need both freeze and an HP burn. So having those, for example, for faction wars in the demon spawn, it's kind of hard. But Achak does have both of those in his next skill. So not his A2, his A3. So his A2, guys, is very basic. Place a block DUS buff on all allies for 1 turn and a 25% strengthen buff. It's a 4 turns cooldown. It's okay. I don't like the block debuffs for 1 turn only. I would love this if it was for 2 turns. It would open up so many more possibilities for a track, but because he also gives that strengthen, then they might have thought it was a bit too strong to have also a block debuff for 2 turns and a strengthener for 2 turns. So a buff extender could possibly work with the chalk if you want to put him in the clan boss, but I'm not taking him to the clan boss in this video. I'm just going to go over the dungeons and faction wars. So Frostfire Gale attacks all enemies, 70% chance to apply a freeze for one turn only on enemies whose attack is higher than their defense. Of course, this is not extended by our Masteries, guys, only the HP burn, which is next. And then the next part, guys, has a 70% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 1 turn on enemies whose defense is equal to or higher than their attack. Different than other champions who have similar skills who depend on the enemy's attack or defense, but those were for decreased defense or decreased attack. This one's all about freeze and HP burn. I do like it. It does take these chances all the way up to 90%, 95% with our Masteries for the HP burn application, but the freeze application stays there at 90%. So it's a good cooldown, 3 turns, although I would like it if it was maybe 2 turns duration for that HP burn instead of one. It might be an issue, for example, in the Spider's Den, but we're gonna try her in there because we haven't tried him at all. It's gonna be like a live just gameplay overview of ACHAK, and then the passive, which is what makes this champion unique and interesting, at least for me. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP every time an enemy under an HP burn it gets a turn. Very good for sustaining, especially in that spider, because we're gonna have so many enemies with an HP burn. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% every time an enemy under a freeze debuff gets a turn. So yeah, I do like this. Also, in case you actually apply a freeze on enemies, then you're gonna get extra turn meter when they get a turn. So it really depends on their defense and attack. So what we're gonna do, guys, is I think we're just gonna apply some accuracy gear on this champion. Don't want to go too crazy with the gear because we're gonna see where we're gonna put and try him. I'm gonna try it for sure the Spider's Den, but so guys, we have a mixture of average gear on Achak right now. We want to see how he does with just average gear, and then maybe we can put in totally end game gear and see how he does with that. But for now, we just have some critical rate, accuracy, and speed as a mixture just to get over to good amount of stats, being as close as we can to 200 speed, which is essential most of the times in having a good champion in the dungeons that can support your whole team. So 188 in the speed department, critical rate 89%, 131% for critical damage, and 300 accuracy. This is, you might think it's a lot, but now with the Doom Tower in the game here, we do think that accuracy now doesn't have a ceiling. At least the way that the Doom Tower is right now, especially the Frost Spider, in the end of the hard Doom Tower, seems like she has endless resistance. So getting through those waves definitely requires you to have over 300 accuracy. So this has now become the norm for most champions if you want to take them into the Doom Tower, the hard difficulty at least. So 304, and I think even the last few stages of the normal Doom Tower, but that's until I get there myself. So 304 accuracy there, so we can land our debuff. So let's take ACHAK to the Frost Spider. I think we're going to need an HP burn champion in there. So I don't want to take Venus in there. But it might be just an easier showcase with that. I could take my ultimate Galligan there. So guys, this is the team that I'm kind of taking. It's a totally endgame team, at least for the Spider. I want to see the interaction that ACHAK does with the champions. He is Wick Affinity, so that's why initially I thought, okay, why would he be good for the Spider? But because of that passive, because the passive is totally different than, you know, normal skills, which you can get a weak hit, then maybe his utility just rises through that. So let's put this on auto and see what he does on auto. So okay, with defense down weaken, he did his move right there and froze many of the Spirelings, but of course that is subject to that weak hit check. So yeah, maybe that's not maybe he's not the best option right here. So imagine if we had a much weaker team. We'll take out the Royal Guards, who can just take down the Spider before it actually tries to do anything. We're going to put in a more weaker team here. By the way, Armigers are not weak. It's just, it's a much weaker team. It takes longer to kill the Spider, so it's going to have a better showcase of what she can provide, of what this champion can provide in the Spider Den. So let's see. I want to see the healing effects and the speed boost effects that either the HP burn or the freeze give to the whole team. We don't have a tank for this team, so probably ACHAK is going to be taking most of the hits from the Spirelings. So we got a ton of freezes there. Okay, I'm liking the control. See, only 1-2 hits there. So we're getting turn meter. Whenever the Spiderlings get a turn, we're getting turn meter. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the turn meter boosts, but okay, now there's the HP burn zone from Venus, which also heals ACHAK for about 2,000 health, if you can see that. And then some of them also die. The HP burns help to kill down the Spider, but yeah, I think he's still gonna die because he's not that tanky with the gear that we put on him. So we do have Venus in here, which brings the, you know, the overpowered aspect in here with the defense down weaken and also HP burns. Arbiter there for the heal. But I do think if we didn't have something that applies an HP burn, then we would be in trouble here. So now ACHAK dies. Maybe a more tanky build would be much better in this situation because he just shows how important it is to have a tanky force champion in here. So we're probably gonna get a resurrect from Arbiter anytime soon. Are we? No, she has it on cooldown. Maybe we managed to kill the Spider before we get a resurrect. Or she does get a big heal. So there we go. Okay, we got everyone up again. And I think she's just gonna die from the HP burn. So overall, I think it was a good run. It was a good showcase of the freeze ability of ACHAK, but there's so many champions out there that can freeze. I think also the combination of the boosting helped the team take down the Spider. Okay, guys, now we're going into Ice Golems 20. So we do have Rearguard Sergeant here. So I thought the better plan here would be to try and have HP burn going. So Rearguard Sergeant does apply a decreased attack debuff on her A2. That might not be that consistent, but hopefully that's going to help us apply those HP burns instead of freezes. And HP burns can take down the enemies much faster. So let's go and see if that works. But her AI, I think, does A3 first, if I remember correctly. So there's a strength then on us. Yeah, she does the ally protection first. And yeah, I think maybe if I had her faster than ACHAK. So yeah, we try to apply the decrease attack. We only have it on 2 enemies because we're weak affinity here. Both ACHAK and rearguard. So yeah. The idea would be that the decrease attack would help me apply the HP burns. I wouldn't have a decrease defense, so the second part of the skill would activate. Yeah, this is why I don't like these kind of champions that have conditional skills. So depending on the defense or depending on the attack of the enemy, they do different stuff because the waves usually have different stats on each character. So you can't really rely on that skill in helping you out in specific situation. Usually the case is going to be that you're going to apply freeze. That's how I see it so far with the Chuck. And yeah, I'm not getting too excited. I do love the passive, so I think with other champions like a Torment in here, a more end game setup would make a Chuck maybe much better because um, of all the freezes that will be applied by Torment. And then maybe if you had something else with HP burn, and then just a Chuck there to have more freezes and more HP burns on a conditional basis, and they're mostly for the passive and the A1. So maybe that kind of team would be much better. So here we just applying freezes on everyone. There we go. We have decreased attack on both of them. Yeah, so she still applied the freeze, so it means they have way more attack than defense. Okay, so 2 minutes to reach the boss. Yeah, it's already a slow team. It's gonna get much slower unless that Armiger does a very nice A2 on the ads right there and just kills them off. There we go, 2 freezes there. It's a bad thing that his passive, like the freeze passive, doesn't work when bosses are there because bosses cannot be frozen. So you lose 50% of the passive just because of that. There's the attack down at least there on the boss. There we go, late to rest. That's what I wanted from Armiger. That's why I brought him here. We only have one of the ads up. There's the ally protection. Honestly, here is rearguard carrying, not ACHAK. We could have brought apothecary here. It would be might even been better than ACHAK with this team right here. Yeah, so my army here has the destroy sets for Doom Tower. That's why he's not hitting that hard. There we go. The ads up again. So overall, so far, I'm not too excited about ACHAK. I mean, he can be in certain situations a much better champion than others, but I'll try him next in PvP and see what he does with a more end game team focused on HP burns and freezes. We can get both of the benefits. The HP burns not so much, but the freeze benefit that he gets, which is the turn meter boost to the whole team by 10%, I think that's gonna be much better for PvP purposes than anything else. So hoping here to get a revive. And look at that. We need a decreased attack. Yeah, if they're gonna survive a hit, there we go. I do like the buffs though, the strengthen and the block debuffs. I do like them. I think Chuck might have a place, but maybe I'm not seeing it right now. Maybe in a clan boss situation that HP burn healing is good, but you're gonna need a champion that applies it more frequently than ACHAK because ACHAK has it for one turn only. One turn healing is not enough, and especially when it's 5% of your max health. So finally, let's go in the arena, guys. I'm not gonna go in the demon spawn function. I think again you need a team that complements him in order to be beneficial through healing. The healing is not gonna be enough through his HP burn alone, which is again it depends on what kind of team you take in there. So let's just put in there arbiter, ACHAK. I'm gonna put in there something with an HP burn. So I think Venus is the only thing I have with HP burn, which is consistent. And then Torment. Yeah, Torment for the freezes. Just to see how this setup would work. Both HP burns and freezes. And then ACHAK, so we boost. Let's apply HP burn instead of defense down weaken. Oh, this is bad. Okay, look at that. Freeze and HP burn on Tyrell. The other two don't have anything, so we're gonna do provoke. Okay, HP burn and freeze. You guys know how good Torment is with that. So let's boost. And then ACHAK. Let's see. Doesn't hit that hard. He does have some critical damage. So we are getting some Terminator boost from the frozen targets, but not everybody got frozen there. So if you want to have something more consistent with freezes, then there's champions out there. The most consistent one is Gurgo for freezes, and then you can just go down the list. Like there's a rare called Greybeard that does freezes. So there we go. We've got 3 freezes there. So Terminator boost. We've got a triple Terminator boost. So 30% Terminator boost there. If you guys saw it. So 3 times the benefit there. That's good. So apply defense down weaken. And ACHAK didn't even take a turn, basically. It's just for his passive, really. And we're probably gonna kill them with this. There we go. Yeah, let's go. Try this, which should be a bit harder with Duchess in there for the block debuffs. So what we want here is freezes. That's what we want. We want to see freezes on them. And Torments on a percentage chance. 4 freezes there. So once they start taking their turns, you're going to see the boosts here over ACHAK's head. There we go. 2 of them dead. Actually, that's not hitting that bad. Maybe I should test her damage out. Yeah. Should we just test her damage out right now? Guys, as a final test, let's check out ACHAK's damage with that A3. I think we might have a big damage with that A3 only. I have put some Savage sets on ACHAK, and yeah, we're hoping for some big damage. We don't have the Helm Smasher Masteries, but still I think we can get some good numbers with that A3. So let's apply everything and let's see what ACHAK does now. Let's see, can we one-shot the waves? Let's put this 1x. There we go, 100k. Okay, not as exciting as I thought it would be. At the same year on uncommons, I got the double the damage. So definitely not a damage potential there from ACHAK. It does benefit from attack gear, but yeah, the damage was not there. So guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. If you did like this video, guys, leave a like down below, comment on what you want to see next in a video, subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.